This day 1695, the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. They are doing Choshen Mishpat in Reis Samach Beis Sif Chav Gimel to Reis Samach Gimel Sif Dalid. Chav Gimel. Chazal said he must Chamar Bukov found a donkey with a saddle on it. Misha knows in Simon Bukov, somebody who gives a simon on the saddle. No sim, no, Marcin lo gamas Chamar, he also give him the donkey. Near Shazel Shinois Maslo, Masha Ein lo sim Chamar. It seems only true, says Arukh HaShulchan, when he has an excuse why he can't give a simon on the Chamor. Such if it's new by him, etc. Otherwise, it's obviously he's lying. Remember Simanim Chamor, William Subo. It says Simanim had a donkey, you don't find those Simanim. You don't give back the donkey. Came to Sus Sur Bagola. So if you find a horse attached to a wagon, give him back the horse if he gives a simon on the wagon, or vice versa, if he has an excuse why he doesn't have a simon on the attached entity. Somebody who buys fruit from his friend. His friend send him fruit as a gift. He finds money in the fruit. If they are wrapped in a cloth, you have to announce it. Because the knot is a simon if it is a unique kind knot. Also the number of money, the amount of the coins, you have a simon. But also the unique qualities of the cloth are a simon. To have a kikis, it's like a wallet with money inside of it. If the coins are scattered throughout the grain, they belong to the buyer. It's only if the grain is not from the seller's own fields. Such he bought them from a broker, or from homeowner who bought them from a broker. That the broker himself buys and sells for different people. Therefore, whoever the money belonged to, you already gave a pope. Since the coins don't have a simon. We took it from the Baabos, Shadash Aperos, who threshed his own fruit. Mistais of Vatzmo. Threshed is the right term here. Gathered the fruit from his fields himself. Bought by his own male and female servants. Workers. He has to get back to Bari Shalohim. Well, here there's and even they fell from these workers since they're shvachis, since they're slaves. Mash gonna have a kind of rabble. They acquired their master guard. But if you gather them by hired employees, people employed by the day, you don't get back to the owner of the grain. The Shem Eschinav might have fallen from the workers. There's also a lacha by the broker himself, buys payros, bought from the homeowner, the farmer, the fruit, must have most and finds them for money. So I don't know, this is the farmer, any buys. He has to give them back to him. But that's only if they not enough time has elapsed that he could have mixed them in with his own fruit. The broker could have mixed it with his own fruit. I'm sure the other shear, because but the broker was holding on to them long enough that he could have mixed in this fruit with the rest of his fruit, which he's brokering. He finds them. I'm sure they're his. The body of Mishaishu, the owners something about when they can reckon that he already mixed him with his own fruit. And they came to his hand after Yush. I guess that amount of time has to elapse before he acquires. I'm not sure, I guess, before he discovers that the money is there. One of us, and the person mixes the sticks hands in his pocket and all the time. So similarly, if he found him in his warehouse after he held on them long enough to sell to others, so he showed them long to him. He was yoish. He gives hope. They should serve. He holds the guy probably raised somebody else. So Shach is a totally be'erchim mishchos. It has to do with the stature of this person and the level of his commercial activity. Find a mass-produced object. They all look the same. There's no simon. Unless there's a simon which doesn't have to do with the way it looks. So to an object which is made in a factory, where thousands are made, there's an industrial revolution halacha. There's no simon in what they look like. Unless there's a simon them which is not on account of what they look like. Now, even though there's no simon for such vessels and objects, people know this is my crackpot. You can tell. There's only, however, by a vessel or an object used a long time. These some of the eye has become satiated with seeing them. Then he has a visual recognition. But new vessels and objects which his eye has not yet been satiated from, and he doesn't have visual recognition. But Tfilas Ayin is not something we can give credibility to any person and assume he's not lying. Because that's you have to believe his credibility. There's no real simon. You only get back a lost object based on visual recognition to a Talmid Chacham who's no Shein Mishnah B'Dua that he does not lie. He never fabricates klal at all. Only by matters which are to make peace. Or matters of modesty. Plainness. When they ask him, do you know such Masechta? He says he doesn't know it. That's okay, because that's modesty. So that's also they ask him, did you sleep on this bed? He said, I didn't sleep there. Even though he did sleep there, that's okay. Because the people are going to find there something inappropriate, and it'll become denigrating in people's eyes. Where there calls up Bepuria, a famous Maharsha, and now it says Talmid Chacham is allowed to be Mashana Bepuria, meaning he's allowed to fake being drunk on Purim. Okay, the that's a Shpiza, that's the Baal Bayis, your host, accept you with an open countenance in the proper way. Then Rosh Kibul Yafet, he doesn't say that he was accepted properly. Conditionally, so that people who are inappropriate are not going to jump on the bandwagon of this host. Also make sure always to wear his garment the proper way so the seams are not seen. Seams are not seemly. For to such time, if it's not a new vessel or a new object, even though he can't give a sin in it, you have to show it to him. The finance to him to like it, to say, and maybe he's going to recognize it with his visual recognition. Then he says it's mine, he'll give it back to him. By default, you assume a Talmid Chacham is not somebody who's going to be a person who fabricates. So last time, except by the things which meant she's allowed to. Until you can bring evidence that this Talmid Chacham lies also by things where he's not authorized to do so. Has to be find the object in the place where Talmid Chacham are prevalent. Based on Medrash, like in a shul based Medrash. Interesting. I know the Torah said that. I don't know a lot of things, but unless Rama Mashal Chomakom Shemotza, the Russian language Rama sounds that no matter where you find it, in Bar Talmid Chacham comes the Omer Shemakir to a sign and says you recognize it with visual recognition. Chai back, so let's get back to him. Comes man say Yesh Din Talmid Chacham say even our nation didn't have Talmid Chacham in this respect. Talmid Chacham Atalia Milsel be Hashem. Wow. That's an amazing statement. It says this time the several times Chachamim. We are not Talmidei Chachamim in erudition like previous generations, but it's possible to be Talmidei Chacham Yiras Hashem similar to previous generations. The Misha Yorei Hashem saying is God fearing. If you do Hashem Meshakar and you know he doesn't lie, Namra Pitu Yisai is based on his belief based on visual recognition. Zeh Tolu Chazal, but Talmidei Chachamim. As Chazal linked this to being a Talmidei Chacham, Shum the Asek B'Teireh Mistoma Yirei Hashem. Somebody who's learning Torah, we hope, is Yirei Hashem. Raise time again. It's not according to your honor to restore this lost object. Somebody finds an object which he's embarrassing about. On Mosasako, Kupa, he finds a sack or a basket. Fuchacham, and he is a sage, or Ishmuchabar, a distinguished person. It's not a person who normally picks up such vessels, but them in his hands, and knows someone carries them. He's not required to deal with them. He can leave him and go. Some Chazal put Kodi Salam to man. Chazal line the part says you can ignore them. Sometimes you're allowed to ignore. Even though it's really to be read between Salam to man. You're going to ignore them, but we're dashing it as if it says Salam to man. Same way of writing it. If it's not according to the distinction of this finder. Kasa Rambam says, yes, the person has to reckon him honestly with himself. The if it was his, would he take it back? He has to give back his friends. But he would not be moichel his own honor when it was his. He would not carry this in public. And he doesn't give back to his friend. And quote from Rambam. Basically, you find a lost animal, it's not your cover to give it back, you shouldn't touch it. Because if you touch it or you hit it, with your hand, with your stick, or the other with your hand, and moved it from its place, in order to give it back, it's chayav tapabah, then you can't change your mind. No backsies. You have to deal with it. Like, give it back, even though it's not according to honor, since you accustomed it, you provoked it to move from its place. It can flee further. But it can cause more damage. I don't remember that yet. That specifically, if you hit it in order to give it back, and then you're changing your mind. Yeah, okay. Arukh HaShulchan is going to talk about that. But if it's a lost object, it's not an animal, which is not going to move on its own initiative once you cause it to move later, but it's not an issue. You actually say that I feel those that say even if it's not an animal. Once you start the mitzvah, you have to complete it. So we guess the name of Rashi and the Rambam. It seems to me it says if it's an animal, I feel like yeshiva, even if you didn't have in mind when you hit it or moved or pushed it to give it back, once you move from its place, you have to give it back. But other things which don't have this, they don't propel themselves, so then you only chayiv if you moved it initially in order to give it back. It says in the brackets, the time Rabbi says there's a good big reason here. It only exempts you from the lav of you may not ignore. That lav is where you did not yet begin. That only that lav pertains, that you only have subject lav is before you touch it. But once you started touching it in order to get back, it's chai by say the sheit shibem. Then you become obligated in the mitzvah say of getting it back. The Torah doesn't exempt you for that. If you would give back such object you found in the semi-private area in the field and not in the city, which is public, if you found it in the city, you have to get back. So Masada, you found in the field. There's Suffolk here, Suffolk do say, came, but they ain't dark over here. So when you go back to the city, and the Muskuyu Klai is not required at all. Or Dimo, do we say, came to Masada, Mukhuyu last skill, so the field has to start. So therefore, once he started in the field, he has to take it back to his house, even though his house is in the city. Plus, the Ram Shan the Chumrah, the Ram passes stringently. Shechai v'achzir l'gam, you have to completely give back. Yesh yinei l'chai v'aschiba. Those say you don't have to start it, even though it's in the field, because it's going to end up back in the city. But some say shechai v'achzir ad yivin yichena. Some say you have to bring it back to the city and then leave it. What I said before, that if you start moving an animal and then you left it alone on its own, it's going to continue moving. So that's not relevant here. On the contrary, it took it to a place where it's more safeguarded than the field. It's the rush, according to Rif. I think it's all brackets, even though it's not in Rashi print here. Not the Rush would say, it could say the Rif is not talking about animals. I should be Yosef. Ikadas of Rambam. Rambam is like the Rambam. That's from the Grove. I'm not sure what's in brackets and what's not in brackets. But once you started, you have to stop. You have to continue. The cause of a Rambam. Rambam writes, somebody who goes in the good and proper way, but if the initial thing goes beyond the letter of law, Mouse is and gives back a lost object no matter what. Anywhere. Even though it's not according to his honor. Yesh Lokim, to those who argue Vosrin and forbid to get back if it's not according to your honor, they should cover that teche. Because you're making a makar of Torah. Obviously, tell you about Talmud Chacham in this case. And what's your Shai Mekiso, but if you want, you can pay for it in your pocket. Zelo Shach Elishu Talmud Chacham. That is only relevant to Talmud Chacham. But if it's honest kind of wealth or some other reason, politician, but he agrees to the Rambam that you can be machmer on yourself. But says Zeu Sham Rava Sham Kosher below Machzir. That's our covered a Torah. Most of them are meaning covered. Because whatever it is, so it's not just covered a Torah. He adds on all types of covered, but there are distinctions between the parameters, and that's it for today.